I heard also in the radio that it's not just me who's saying this, but it's done. Oh yeah? Yeah, there are new Haggadahs. I don't know who. Don't remember. Actually, Ayala told me about it. Now in the meeting, like, So many things bother me there. Endless. The Haggadah? What? The Haggadah. Something. Endless. What? Something awful, this Haggadah. What bothers you? What? What bothers you? Full of revenge. And full of violence. But only now? Like you didn't notice. Now I noticed how much it is. You know, every year I look at it with less. Every year I look at it with more frustration and I notice more to other things, but just I noticed this time how all the tribe, every tribe, Israel, who sits in this type of dinner and Passover, sits around the Haggadah and starts reading all kind of parts, and after they're talking except of liberation from the one who occupies you, you start talking about types of how to pack the memory, and to pack the memory is around all kind of the thing of plague of the firstborn. No, not plague of the first. All types of plagues. Putting it in initials. All the thing of commemorate like this, commemorate like that. Raising the wine and drink and commemorate. What? Why the initials? Datzach. Yes, but what does this mean? That it's talking about remembering it in a very powerful way, coding it in the minds of the people. Correct. No absolution and no forgiveness. No acceptance, no reconciliation, no peace, no nothing. Yeah. It's a narrative, but what in the kibbutz? In the kibbutz they put a great emphasis of the spring, the seasons of the year. I don't remember so much. I know there's also these parts, of course. Yes, and there's Chad Gadia and all kind of things that are in it. Our God and all kind of these things. You remember that the plague of the firstborn came to the people whose king said, all the firstborn, throw them to the river. I mean, they weren't exactly a reaction, a flower of no, you're saying it was a reaction to there, right? You say, I'm saying that Pharaoh, at least according to the story, Pharaoh killed all the boys, yeah, of the sons of Israel. So the plague of the firstborn seems even lighter than this, because you destroy only the firstborn and not all the children, all the boys. I yell it, but the series of the 9 plagues that come before that even. Look at the amount of collective punishment that's there. You remember, again, in terms of our narrative, you remember why came all these plagues? Because Moses went to Pharaoh and he said, liberate them, and he said, bite me. Well, he said, then here you go, and then came the first one. And then he came and he said, liberate them, and he said, no. And then the second one, it didn't come in the first hand with the whole package. Yes, but I yell it. The thing of all right, well, you can say, let's say, what they're doing now in Russia, they're putting sanctions, yeah? So they're putting it on the whole state, I agree with you. But you think that, let's say they put now the thing of putting it every time a different humanitarian disaster on Russia. That's the way now to break Putin, let's say. I don't know to tell you what needs to be done, but I just want to point out that it's not completely arbitrary. The whole hunting, revenge, and payment, but it has base in the enslavement and suffering that was there once. And also to say on the way that I wouldn't change the Haggadah even in one line. Yes, I would talk about its meaning, but I wouldn't change, because it is what it is. It's an historic relic to something that was. Say, but I don't think but if we read it every year, maybe not delete it, but every year we read it. No, so it has to be read differently, critically, we have to talk about it, how to read it to children. You've seen how many children we were now with the cousins now in the Seder. Yeah. So we say again and again, and her who stand, and in every generation, every Jewish person, they don't understand after all the meaning. Eventually they will, but some of it is introverted. I didn't think of how to do it technically, but I wouldn't write a new Haggadah. Why? But you would still tell it every year. Even if there's a hurt of type of... I don't know to tell you exactly where, but I've heard an interview 2 days ago with someone she's leading this line of changing the Haggadah. One of the people was saying this, and she said, only from the gender issues, I'm horrified by what's there. I didn't check exactly. Instead of being horrified by the Haggadah, she should be horrified by what's happening today in the Rabbinat. This text, she's horrified. She's also horrified by what's happening in the Rabbinat. But I want to ask you, if, like Amit is saying, if you're putting these seeds that have in them racism, exclusion, and let's say, if so, I'll check every part. But if so many things that are about how you see the other who's and a paranoid pattern, let's say, that's in it, why do you think we have to put it permanently as a monument? I think it's a part of our history, and I wouldn't want to erase it. I don't know if it's our history, it's a myth. You think there were really slaves in Egypt that built the pyramids, even if it's a history of 300 years and not from the Pharaoh days? It's a part of our history. What do you mean when you say history? I'm saying that my grandma and grandpa and before that and before that and before that sat around the table and read this Haggadah. So it's not the story. It's the action of reading. No, of this text, of these texts. Like I want the Bible, as much as horrible it is, I will not write a new one. And the Bible has atrocities not less than the Haggadah and greater in portion. It's not, no one has rewritten it. Maybe someone will want to write, but I don't think, I mean, I wouldn't put any effort in this project. But then, so we have a text that we all agree that is violent, fascist, and justifies cruelty. Mm-hmm. Yes, and it's a part of our heritage, yes. And now we have to face this, correct? How do we face this? I don't know, I can solve all problems of humanity. I mean, no, I'm asking your opinion. I don't have it's not all problems of humanity, it's something that we can control. You have an opinion. My opinion is not, it shouldn't be destroyed, but preserved. Maybe the right way will be to read it while saying, look, this is what once they thought, we used to believe it, today we think differently, and talk about how we think it different. But we don't cancel it. No, there is not really a way to cancel these things. Yes, if it's erased and all the copies are destroyed, then in a few generations there will be nothing left. But who's talking about deleting the copies? We're talking about change. Yeah, correct. What it is to change. To change is delete what was and putting something new. Wait, okay. I think, correct, that like the one who said, what, so you're anti-change? This text, yes. I think it needs to be framed in a correct way, in terms of its effect, in terms of its value for today, for us and our lives. But I'm not into deleting it. But the value now is clear that the connection between our relations to the Egyptians is a necessary connection to our relation to the Palestinians, right? Let's be specific. It's not in the air. We're not in the diaspora. We are in the land of Canaan. And I don't think it's destined to the Palestinians. It's destined to everyone that we perceive as the enemy. All right. But now we're in a specific point, right? In building the nation or whatever. We're in a local moment. What do you mean we're in a local moment? We're in 2022. Yeah. We're an occupying country, yes. That doesn't give rights to... Yeah, correct, yeah. That separates human beings, correct. But this story, the Haggadah, is one of the tools to justify this. No? Okay. So how do we solve this? We need to find a way that this will be our heritage, and also that we're not horrible, evil people, correct? We need to find a way to preserve heritage without being bound to it. Do the same thing. Let's do it. How do we do it? Like, how do we do it without change, let's say? If you're anti-change. I'm not anti-change in a broad sense. No, of this text. You're anti-change of this text, yes. But this text it's one of the tools, actually. So with this tool, we remain. We're not remaining with it as a tool, we remain with it as a relic. I can't say to a boy, your grandfather was Nazi, but we believe in something else. You want me to tell him your grandfather wasn't Nazi, he was hugging trees. This is a part of our history. This is a part of who we are. This part exists, and we have to acknowledge it, and we need not to be bound to a similar behavior. Why tie it as a festive event? We can do in this event, take out certain parts and say that it will be a type of encounter, that we search in it what we, let's say, elements that we think are important, like freedom, let's say, and the thing of the ability to control your destiny, because it's a lie. Why? Moses didn't, that's not only this is our tradition. You want to take out only the positive parts and destroy the unpleasant parts to the year? No, I'll emphasize it differently. Instead of having in what's different this night, let's say, and there will be a talk of that what's done to us is that what needs to be done all the time, how we were hurt. So we'll do something a bit different. Or let's say, again, the emphasis of the thing of the plague, all the plagues. The emphasis is very big. The proportions, we have to change the proportions. The songs, all kind of things. I don't have anything else to say except that I wouldn't change it. Maybe I would use only a part of it, but I wouldn't change. I wouldn't emphasize the part that make us seem beautiful and remove the parts that make us seem unbeautiful. Yes, I would try to frame it in a different way, to clarify that this was the perception once, and today we're in a different position. So we need to remain with the text and teach it differently, you think? This is maybe more representative of what I think, yes. You didn't think about it when I grew up? No. When did you start thinking it? I don't remember. What, so you would raise me differently now? I don't think I raised you so bad with this. Here, you got to these places yourself. No, you didn't raise me bad. That's not what I'm... But like... What are we talking about actually? We're talking about education, right? The present or the future? What are we talking about? We're talking about both, I think. Now you would tell the story different? No, I would maybe add on more talk about this. For me, most of the years, I read the Haggadah in the Seder evening like a manibi. I read and I wouldn't listen to what it means. It was a traditional text that we sang and talked without thinking of what it means. So at any point you didn't think of the meaning of the Haggadah? At some point, yes, but for many years, no. And again, you're saying, by the way, education, not you or Jonathan, you didn't turn out to be an inhuman person who doesn't acknowledge the rights of the other. It didn't exactly design you to be some sort of monsters. This reading we read. Yes, but there are many others that maybe, yes, it turned them into monsters. a bit turned me into a monster, I think. I grew up with a great amount of fear from Arabs, and not because of the Agadah. No, but it's a part of it. No, not because of the Agadah. Because there was a seer of attacks throughout the years you grew up. Correct, but I grew up with fear from Arabs and with a perception that what did I already do to them? Like, with all honesty, you really didn't do anything. Yes, we didn't do anything. You really didn't do anything. Mom, I benefit a lot from this situation. I gain from it. I benefit from my peaceful life, correct. And still you didn't do anything. How could it be I didn't do anything? Because you didn't do anything active to harm them. What is an active thing then? When does a thing becomes active? You didn't hit and you didn't rob and you didn't steal and you didn't kill and you didn't burn Arab kids. You didn't do anything bad. You protested for them. You voted for people you thought who could fix the situation. You didn't do anything bad. And you think that even also Nazis in Nazi Germany, not even Nazis, the village people, the city people, whatever, in Nazi Germany who didn't do anything, also didn't do anything bad? You try to do things to change in the frame of what you can. And still we are, well, I think that there are a lot of my blind spots and a lot of my racism is bound in the story I told myself and the story I was told and the story I absorbed, and some of it, one of it, a part of it is the Haggadah and the victimness and the haunting. And I grew up in the opposite situation. I grew up like the story I was grasping onto was that I'm a victim, always. It's about the Haggadah, it's about anti-Semitism, it's about stuff, it's about the reality. You make it sound like it's just a story. But you know it from your grandma and grandpa. 3/4 of the family died, murdered. This is the reality. It's not correct, but it's not the reality I grew up in. No, but it's a part of the reality you grew up in. The reality I grew up in is very much the opposite. It's one that I am safe and I'm the strong one. Correct? Correct. I'm the strong one and I abuse the power. So you did not abuse the power. For the worse. I simply have normal lives. Yes, that the Arabs who live in this country don't have it, and not in this country and in the occupied territory. Correct, but did you create this reality? No, but I have to change it, okay? I also didn't create the one in which my grandma and grandpa were haunted and murdered. If you don't like it, then why is this a justification? You don't like it, you can change. No, the justification is not saying I only had good, comfy lives. And there's no reason, like it sounds to me from the things you say, there's no reason for the fear, defensiveness, the need to protect ourselves. It's completely arbitrary. No, we came from a great horror, a great extinction. We did many things to not get to this point again. Now, it's your right to say, I don't like where we are now, I want to change. And you can do what you think is right to change. But from here and to feeling that I am a war criminal because and all these things were done just like this from a sadistical lust. No, it wasn't done from a sadistical lust. It wasn't done from a sadistical lust, but it was done. Yes, correct, it was done. And you're not a war criminal for it. And those who haunted the Jews or after my great-parents and killed most of my family 80 years ago is not right now the one we as a nation hurt. Correct. We're not now avenging the Germans. But you know that the Arab armies invaded the land of Israel after the declaration of the state and tried to destroy us. Yes, I know. So they weren't Nazi Germans. They were Arabs. Correct. Correct. They were Arabs. So I'm not saying this isn't I'm not saying that the Palestinian boy who got shot in the head today is to blame because of his great-parents doing these things. But we have a reason to be worried. We have a reason to be worried. Okay. Our existence in this world is not so safe. Correct. And we need to find, indeed, something else, proportional, that we can defend ourselves and not enslave others. But I'm not justifying what we're doing today in terms of its absolute value. But I do understand how we got there, parts at least. And we need to take measures to keep us safe. Okay? The thing is, so maybe keeping us safe is to to create a different society, could be to create different stories, to tell something that will keep us safe, is maybe not to tell the Haggadah. I don't think so. Maybe to tell a different story. So I think not to prevent from the future this thing to repeat itself. Here we just said no. The Arab armies are occupying the Germans. Maybe this Haggadah is a point that they're all part of our reality, all part of our history, and we should remember it. We should start telling another story, so the future will not be like the history. A different story will be a lie. The future will be different than history, not for a different story, but if we make different decisions. But if we're grasping onto the same decisions, the same stories, how will we make different decisions? The facts are the facts. What was. This is our history. What I think, Ayelet, is that I relate to what Amit is saying, the thing of the lack of, let's call it like this, lack of patience, like, let's say Amit, who's saying, okay, for now, while we talk, we keep being occupiers, in the meantime. And now the thing of, I think, in this thing that, there's a problem here, that as long as you and I are talking that we need to do survival things to exist, I don't see so much to exist in face of those who come upon us to destroy us. And in the meantime, while we talk, 70 years go by, and time keeps passing. Now I can understand Amit, who's saying, okay, but this, I don't know what we're doing now in terms of how we preserve, but we're not doing anything to break it. Now, this thing of the narratives or the things we're holding on to now, I don't know if could be that it does affect that there is we're just the amount of people who says there's no one to talk to or nothing needs to happen keeps growing and time keeps passing. So in the life of a Palestinian boy, now time passes by. He's turning from a child to an adult and the years go by, and for now we keep reading the Haggadah every evening. Oh yeah, changing the Haggadah technically is the easiest, symbolically. You think if you stop reading the Haggadah, something will change in the life of a Palestinian boy? Yes, could be. Yes, what will change? It could be that if the boy, Israeli, will not the Israeli boy, time goes by. What are you doing now for the situation to change? No, I really think that I don't do enough. Not doing enough. You're not doing anything. Correct. So I'm just saying that the lack of patience. So if you think change needs to happen, go do change. Not talk to me about the Haggadah. So you think it's nothing, like it's meaningless. I think that a part of this thing, Ayelet, is that I think, for example, that my mother, one of the changes she should have done through the years is to simply shut up and not say everything. And now I think that a part of the thing is to know that some things shouldn't be done. Some rituals shouldn't be done. If we keep doing some rituals of hate that have in them an element of hate, you have to stop doing the ritual. You want the situation for the Palestinians to change today? Yes. So what are you doing for it? Stop reading the Haggadah. I think this will create change today, a part of the change. But if we don't have today, like, what you're asking me, what can you do for the state? For example, you and I, to the ceremony in the Memorial Day, the alternative one, and we didn't go to the non-alternative one. So it's an action that is a drop in the sea. It's a symbolic act. It does something. Yes, it's like changing the Haggadah. Same as this. Yes, it's to believe a different story. It's to tell a different story. Ayelet, you don't think so? No. I think this is just polishing our conscience. Going to the ceremony in the Memorial Day? Yes, the alternative one. All the things we do is just to feel a bit less guilty. Not because it has an actual value, an actual action. Because we would, if we were helping to harvest olives, this is an actual action. I don't know to tell you what needs to be done, but I don't think the actions I'm doing, at least, they make some sort of impact in the world. But this is a different argument, right? This means that we shouldn't change the Haggadah because it doesn't matter. No. I'm not downgrading the meaning of symbols, and I I've told you what is my position about the Haggadah as a symbol, as a historic relic, or I don't know, as a traditional relic, or something that ties us to our history. And it's not about the fact that I think that trying to change the Haggadah, to change something in the faith of the Palestinians, it makes me laugh. It seems to me lack of traditional value, contemporary value. If speak out of 2022, it will change nothing in 2022 and not in 2032. But if let's say I change a bit the ambition, I will not be able to change the fate of the Palestinians, let's say from the same arguments you're saying that I'm not responsible to their fate, because it's not my fault. No, you're responsible today, yes. I'm responsible, but I'm not the cause. Correct, okay. I'm responsible today, and also I don't have so much power. I don't have so much impact. Like Alon, for example, he's an example of someone who's going and doesn't affect. Correct, he's not affecting. And in the eyes of mom, I'm trying to stay with this perspective. Alon goes to protests, and he has 50% of his time is invested to activism, and it doesn't help. I want to change the Haggadah so that I will have a different symbol, and it will not help the Palestinians. But maybe it will help for me, as a daughter of the Jewish people, as an Israeli, scares me to say Zionist, but maybe there is a measurement of Zionism in me. So for me, it will help to build an identity that's different. It's constructed with these words in a different way. This is my reason to change the symbol, define the symbol, change the Haggadah, change the story, go to the alternative Memorial One ceremony, because with myself I'll be better. I know that I am not, or not a part of killer people, or I'll try to change my people. And maybe me, as a part of my people, will project onto the future of the Palestinian boy or his present, or probably not in the near future, but maybe in a decade, if the generation will grow up here like a non-binary open people with open gender who accepts different performativity of sexuality. At some point they will accept different performativity of Israeliness, of Jewishness, of I want to do it to be alright with myself. Okay? So, okay, I understand what you're saying. For me, that's not working, this thing. I will not do it. That's all I'm saying. I don't think that reading the Haggadah is turning me into a better or worse person than what I am without reading the Haggadah. We're here. That's why, Amit, like when I looked at Alon in the Seder, I thought about it, how could he handle this? What? The Haggadah. I looked at Alon because at some point I thought to myself, wow. Alon lives complicated lives, like all of us. Yes, correct. Like, I don't know if he managed this. But I think he's doing a lot, and he doesn't see himself as a Zionist left, so I don't know. I'm going straight, right, for now? I don't know. Terminal 3, we usually have to go. Yeah. Could be that it's a day that still most of the passengers have already left. And when Jonathan called to ask, they said you have to come 4 hours before the flight. And you're how many hours now before? 2 hours. Ah. Alright, worst case, call me in the evening. We'll be in the show actually. What call you in the... You're already prepared that I'm not boarding the flight. I'm saying that I'm taking into consideration. I left the key on the next to the bed. Okay. You're going in with me? What? I don't think we can. Are we allowed to? I don't know. I don't know where it is today. Once we couldn't go in, you remember? They stopped me at the gate. Yeah. I don't know how it is today. Ayula, you have masks? Yeah. Okay. So far. Yeah, it's huge, huh? Yeah. I don't know which part exactly, but my father was a part of what? The designers of this airport. Here or here, you think? Okay. You think here, Amit? Yeah.
את מנסה להיכנס ליומית?
You're trying to go in with Amit? I can't go in. Let's see what's... I'll see what's... I'm gonna walk with her to the opening. Oh, you're gonna walk with her.